On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Cazcanes No. 9 Blanco, right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at doing a tasting review of 100 proof Blanco. It's Cazcanes No. 9 Blanco. When I get bottles like this, because they actually sent me this sample to do the review, I normally try to touch base with them and find out what their story was. And I wanted to share with you guys their story, because it's actually kind of really interesting. You know, normally when a tequila comes out, like for example, Michael Jordan's tequila, Sincoro, you know, they normally say something like, oh, we could never find a tequila that was good, that, you know, tasted good, that we enjoyed, which, you know, it's a bunch of bunk. It just means they really didn't try very hard if they couldn't find anything that tasted good. So I was kind of expecting that from them, like, oh, you know, all the other tequilas we tried were harsh or were bad, and so we wanted to come up with something that was the best tasting tequila ever. Well, that wasn't their story. Instead, the way it works is the co-founder, his name's Colin Edwards. He's a kind of a wine guy. He's really big into drinking wines and stuff. Well, he fell in love with tequila, and so he went down to Mexico to try to come up with his own brand, because he wanted to do his own brand of tequila. And so he went to all the contract distillers that, you know, a lot of these other guys go to when they want to start their brands. And what they do is you produce mass juice and just slap different names on it. And they tried a bunch of them, and none of them were up to his standards. And being a wine guy, you know, he's big into Terrier and stuff like that. So instead, he was going to try to find some place that would make something special and something that is representative of what a good agave spirit should be like. And so they were actually introduced to a distillery in the woods of Jalisco. There's a guy that made moonshine, which, you know, it's kind of like Raicilla. But he was making 110 proof moonshine out in the woods, and they kind of, you know, saw what he was doing and saw his recipe and stuff, and decided, hey, we want to do something like what this guy does. So they got a recipe with this guy, and then they said, okay, well, we need to find a distillery that'll make it, that'll allow us to have control over how it's made. And they found a distillery that wasn't registered with the CRT, so it wasn't producing tequila. And they went to him and said, hey, if you allow us to do our recipe and to do our processes to make the tequila we want, we'll actually help you get registered with the CRT and get everything all set up so you can produce the tequila for us. We'll take care of that for you. And the distiller said, well, okay, let's do it. And so now they are producing Cazcanes. So that's kind of an interesting story. You normally don't hear a story like that when you're listening to people's stories on why their brands came up. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because that's a little different than what you typically hear. All right, so now that I told you the story, a little bit about the brand, let's get into how this brand is made. All right, Cazcanes No. 9 Blanco comes out of NOM 1599, which is a brand new NOM that they got this distillery so they can make their tequila for them. The distillery name is Familia Lederos. They're located in Tequila, Jalisco, in the Valles region, the valley. The master distiller is Francisco Jimenez. The agave used are Weber Blue agave from the Valles region, or the lowlands. After they harvest the agave, they use an autoclave under high pressure to cook the agave. After the agave are finished cooking, they then use a roller mill to extract the sugars from the agave fibers. After they're done extracting the sugars, they then the mosto is placed into a stainless steel tank where it is fermented. After it's done fermenting, it is then 2 times distilled using a stainless pot still. After it is done with distillation, it is then bottled at 100 proof in these custom bottles that they had made for this brand. The lowest price I was able to find this for online was for $86.99. It's a little on the pricey side, but let's go up to the tasting portion and see if it's worth it. All right, going up top to the pour can to show you guys the pour. Go ahead and, of course, I'm using my high proof Stazel Jarrito nosing glass. my go-to glass for really detecting all the great smells and flavors in a high proof tequila. All right, we got the pour going, so let's go back up top and see what it looks like in the glass. All right, so looking at what this looks like in the glass. Coats the glass really nicely. You can see those legs and tears coming down the glass, starting to form right there. So it's gonna have a nice viscosity or mouthfeel to it. Then looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear, looks beautiful. All right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. Oh wow, wow! All right, this is like lowland agave, like right up in your face there. So what that means is it's really a robust baking spices coming through on the nose. It's kind of a vegetalness to it. And it has kind of a floral nose to it too. It smells really nice. And then picking up like a minerality on the nose too. It's got to be from the water they use down there in the Valles. It smells really good. All right, so let's see how it tastes. Beautiful mouthfeel. Coats the mouth really nicely. Lots and lots of the baking spices and that cinnamon coming through from the agave. Beautiful. Has a nice vegetalness, grassiness to it too, which is I love in a good solid Blanco. Followed just by a hint of anise in there to kind of balance things out a little bit. And it ends with a little cinnamon sweetness on the end. And the finish, I'd say, is a medium finish on this. This is a really nice Blanco. Now, with the price being $86.99 for the lowest I could find, you know, that might be a deterrent. But, you know, I want to, this is actually really good. Oh yeah, beautiful. Nice sweet baking spices in the front with that cinnamon nutmeg type of baking spices. Nice vegetalness in there afterwards. Followed by a little bit, just a hint of anise bitterness there to kind of balance things out a little bit. And then it ends with kind of a floral, and then it goes into a sweetness, like a cinnamon sweetness, where it finishes on the end. Very nice. I like it a lot. This may be my favorite high proof lowland. Let's do something real quick. You guys know I love my Fortaleza still strength. So I'm going to grab another glass here. And I've got the still strength here. And I want to taste these, the Fortaleza still strength. I want to do them side by side. Now, this is only like, you know, $55, $60. I'm going to compare them and see kind of what they're like together. Just for kicks and giggles. What do you guys think? All right. Let's check this out. So maybe clean my palate with a little water. Let me do a little Fortaleza. Now, you know, this is only 46%, so it's 4% less. Okay, so this is the Fortaleza, this is the Cazcanes, okay? This has got a bolder nose to it. The Cazcanes has a bolder nose. Fortaleza's got some good lowland agave there. The still strength. Got the baking spices. A little bit earthiness to it, grassiness there. little sweetness on the finish. I love that. I love that, the Fortaleza. All right, so the Cazcanes. Seems to have a lot more flavor to it. My God. Rich, cooked agave coming through in the beginning. Nice grassiness to it. Nice finish on the end. Yeah, it's 4% more, but you wouldn't think it would make that big of a difference. But this is really bold on the flavor profile. I have to say, this is my favorite lowland high proof Blanco, I think, to date. I don't think I've tried any that are better than this. This is fantastic. So would I recommend you picking up a bottle and trying it for $86 to $90? Absolutely. Yeah. You got to try it at least once. It's phenomenal. I think it's my favorite lowland high proof Blanco. The flavor profile on it is just incredible. The flavors are just really bold, and they really come through strong compared to the Fortaleza, which Fortaleza was like my number 2. Yeah, the Fortaleza is good. It's really good. But the Cazcanes, just a lot more flavor. It's a lot more flavor. It's more bold. So there you go. I recommend the Cazcanes. Yeah, it's pricey, but you got to try a bottle. Seriously, this is good, really good stuff, especially if you're a Blanco person. It's amazing the amount of flavor coming out of this Blanco. I give this one 5 agaves. Definitely 5 agaves. You guys, if you see it in the store, you want to order it, I think Old Town's got it for the $86.99 price that I saw. Pick up a bottle and try it, I beg you. And then comment below and tell me if it's not one of the more flavorful lowland high-proof Blancos that you've ever tried. It's fantastic. All right, there you go. If you've tried Cazcanes, I'd love to hear what you think. Put your comments below. Let me know if we synced up on our flavor profiles. As far as other Blancos that you've seen that you want me to do a review of, comment below, let me know. Don't forget to like for the information I shared. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment, because once you subscribe, the more you like, the more you comment, the better chance you have of winning of our great prizes we have. And like I always say, until next time, life is too short to drink bad tequila. Salud.